Okay, think about that feeling you get, that constant buzz in your pocket, the little notification sounds,
Hmm.
or just that urge to check your phone again. Apparently, the average person looks at their phone nearly 100 times every day.
It's kind of wild when you hear the number, isn't it?
It really is. It feels like our attention is just fragmented, pulled in all directions by digital stuff.
Yeah, and it's a strange situation because these tools, they're meant to connect us, right?
Mhm.
But often they can actually make us feel, well, more disconnected.
Disconnected from right now, from ourselves.
Exactly, even from the people literally sitting across from us.
Absolutely. So that's what we're diving into today, this big question. How can we actually use some ancient wisdom, these mindfulness practices, to handle our very modern, very digital lives?
Yeah, it's a crucial question. We've been digging into an essay, Mindfulness in the Digital Age, which has some really interesting perspectives.
Right. And our goal here really is to explore how you, listening right now, can find ways to stay focused, look after your well-being, and, have real connections despite all the screens.
It's about finding that balance.
Okay, so let's get into the core problem first. What is all this constant digital engagement actually doing to us? To our, maybe our brains?
Well, the essay highlights some research that's pretty compelling. Brain imaging studies, for instance, seem to show a correlation between really heavy tech use and actual changes in the parts of the brain that manage attention and also emotional regulation.
Whoa, hold on. So it's not just a feeling of being scattered, it might be physical changes.
That's what the evidence seems to suggest, yeah. And a huge piece of the puzzle is this dopamine feedback loop.
Ah, dopamine, right?
Every time you get a notification, a like, a comment,
Mhm.
your brain gets a little squirt of dopamine, that pleasure chemical.
Like a little reward. Makes sense.
Oh.
So you want to go back for more?
Exactly. It trains you. And here's the thing the essay really emphasizes. These digital environments, they're often deliberately designed to hijack that reward system.
How so?
They use things like intermittent rewards, unpredictable payoffs, think slot machines. It's the same principle, and it's incredibly effective at building habits, sometimes even, compulsive behaviors.
So it's not accidental, it's engineered.
Pretty much, yeah. It's designed to exploit those psychological hooks.
Okay, so just telling ourselves, I'll use less willpower, probably isn't the whole answer then. We're up against some sophisticated design.
That's a really key point. Relying only on willpower is, frankly, often not enough because these systems tap into deeper, often unconscious reward pathways.
Right, okay, so the digital world is kind of nudging us away from being present constantly. How does mindfulness fit in? How does it help?
Well, mindfulness at its heart is about paying attention, intentionally, in the present moment, and crucially, without judgment.
Without judgment.
Yeah, just noticing what's happening, thoughts, feelings, the phone buzzing, without immediately reacting or getting carried away by it.
Okay. And how does that help with the phone checking and the distraction?
Well, practices like, say, focused attention meditation, where you practice focusing on your breath, they train your ability to notice when your mind has wandered off
Which happens all the time with digital stuff.
all the time.
Yeah.
And then, gently, just bring your attention back. You're essentially strengthening the mental muscles that digital habits can weaken.
So you're building resilience, mental resilience against those constant pulls.
Exactly. And it's not just a nice idea, there's actual science backing this up. The essay mentions research showing real brain benefits from regular practice.
Like what? What kind of benefit?
Okay, so studies have shown things like increased gray matter density in brain areas linked to attention and self-awareness.
Wow.
Also, improvements in working memory capacity, becoming better at noticing when your mind wanders in the first place, and even decreased activity in the brain networks associated with distraction and mind wandering.
That's pretty significant. It really sounds like mindfulness could be a genuine antidote, or at least a powerful tool.
A very useful tool, yeah.
Now, the essay makes this distinction. It talks about integration rather than rejection.
Yeah.
I think that's important because, let's face it, most of us aren't going to just ditch our smartphones entirely.
Right. No, absolutely. A complete digital detox isn't realistic or even desirable for most people. The idea is to integrate technology more consciously, more mindfully.
So it works for us, not against us.
Exactly. And the essay suggests approaching this on two fronts, changing your environment and training your attention.
Okay, let's talk environment first. What are some practical things you can actually do?
A big one is that notification audit we mentioned. Seriously, go through your apps. Which alerts do you really need? Be ruthless. Turn off the rest.
I should probably do that.
It makes a huge difference. Also, creating physical distance. When you need to focus or just disconnect, put the phone in another room. Maybe have tech-free zones like the bedroom.
Okay.
And boundaries around time, like maybe deciding not to check your phone for the first hour of the day or the last hour before bed. Small changes, big impact.
Those sound doable. Okay, what about the other side? Training our attention. How do we do that while using tech?
One really simple practice is just taking a mindful pause before you engage. Before you open that app, before you click that link, just take one conscious breath. Check in. Why am I doing this?
Setting an intention.
Exactly.
Yep.
And really try to practice single tasking. We think we can multitask digitally, but our brains, honestly, they're not built for it. Focus on one thing at a time.
Harder than it sounds sometimes.
It is. And the essay mentions a great little tool, the acronym SDOP.
Soft OP.
Yeah. S, stop what you're doing. T, take a breath.
Yeah.
O, observe what's happening inside thoughts, feelings, urges. And P, proceed intentionally.
Ah, I like that. Stop, take a breath, observe, proceed. That feels like something you could actually use when you feel that mindless urge to scroll.
It's designed precisely for that moment, to break that automatic pilot.
Okay. Now, social media. That feels like a whole different beast sometimes. The scrolling, the comparing ourselves to others.
It definitely presents unique challenges, yeah. That social comparison engine is powerful. So a mindful approach here starts with that intention setting again. Why am I opening this app right now?
Instead of just opening it out of habit.
Right. Is it to connect with someone specific, to
Mhm.
see something inspiring? And then while you're using it, consciously notice those comparison thoughts when they pop up. Don't judge yourself for having them. Just notice them. And maybe practice a little self-compassion. Remember, you're usually seeing a highlight reel.
That's a good reminder. It's not the full picture.
Yeah.
What about just everyday digital communication? Emails, texts, Slack messages. Can we be mindful there too?
Absolutely. It starts with trying to give your full attention to one conversation at a time. Avoid juggling 5 chat windows at once if you can help it.
Guilty as charged sometimes.
We all are. Also, setting clear expectations about response times for yourself and maybe communicating them to others can lower that pressure to be always on.
Right, reducing the anxiety.
Yeah. And think about the right medium for the message. Is this complex thing really best handled over email? Or would a quick call be better, more connected, more mindful? Especially if there's emotion involved.
Good point. Choosing tool wisely. These are great tips for personal life. But the workplace, oh man, that can feel like digital distraction central.
It really can be intense, can it? The essay points this out too. There's that statistic, the average knowledge worker gets interrupted something like every 3 minutes.
That sounds about right. It's hard to get deep work done.
It is. But again, mindfulness offers practical strategies here too.
Okay, like what? How can you apply this at work?
Well, actively protecting blocks of time for focused work is key. Put it in your calendar like a meeting. Treat it seriously.
Time blocking, okay.
Maybe even start meetings with just a minute of quiet centering. It helps everyone arrive and be more present.
Interesting idea.
Also, create little transition moments between tasks. Instead of slamming from a spreadsheet into a video call, take 30 seconds to just breathe and shift gears mentally.
A mental palate cleanser.
Sort of, yeah. And finally, maybe the most impactful, establishing team agreements. Clear norms around communication. When do we expect email replies? What's Slack for versus email? Reducing unnecessary noise for everyone.
It sounds like these workplace practices aren't just for individual sanity. They could actually make teams work better together, more focused.
I think that's absolutely true. Better focus, clear communication.
So as we kind of pull this all together, what's the bottom line here? Why does this mindful approach to digital life really matter? Is it just about being more productive?
Productivity can be a nice side effect, sure, but the essay argues it goes much deeper than that. It's about preserving something fundamentally human.
Which is?
Our capacity for deep, sustained attention. Our ability to form authentic connections. Our ability to experience life directly, vividly, not just mediated through a glowing rectangle.
Protecting our core humanness in a way.
You could put it like that.
And the essay brings up this term, digital wisdom. What exactly does that mean?
Yeah, I like that term. Digital wisdom is about finding that skillful balance. It's about integrating technology thoughtfully, harnessing its benefits, but without sacrificing our presence, our connection, our attention.
So using the tools wisely with awareness.
Exactly. It's acknowledging how powerful and useful these tools are, but also actively protecting what makes us human. It's being intentional.
So it's not anti-technology. It's about being smarter about technology, wiser.
Precisely. And the essay leaves us with a hopeful thought. As more of us start cultivating this individual digital wisdom, maybe that creates a demand for technologies that are actually designed differently.
Oh, interesting. Technologies that support our presence instead of fighting for our attention.
Wouldn't that be something? It could genuinely shift the digital landscape over time.
That's a really powerful idea to end on. So maybe the question for you, listening, is this. How could cultivating your own digital wisdom, your own mindful approach to technology, not just boost your own focus and well-being, but maybe, just maybe, play a small part in shaping a healthier digital future for everyone?